U.S. plans to release 172 million barrels of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve in an effort to lower energy costs during the Iran war. Joining us now is Energy Secretary Chris Wright. Mr. Secretary, it's good to see you. Thanks for hanging out, talking about the play. You probably were listening to some of that, but we appreciate you joining us this morning.
You bet. Thanks for having me, Joe.
I'm doing some math here and thinking about the SPR. We're only at 58% right now, and I look at all the machinations of we tried to refill it, didn't we? And Congress wouldn't give us the money to refill all of it. So now if we use 172 million out of 415, we'll be below 50% full, won't we?
We will. But as we release this oil to address the short-term needs, we're doing it in swaps. So we're going to release 172 million barrels and swap it for more than 200 million barrels that'll be back in the reserve within a year. So ultimately, this is going to help us fill the reserve, but we need the oil in the short term for a short-term pain for long-term gain.
How does that work? Because I saw that, so that we'll get 200 back with no cost to the taxpayer. How does that work?
Just think of the price structure of oil right now. You know, it's backwardated. So the front month price is much higher than the 12 months out price.
Right. Okay. All right. So that the math actually works out. How long does it take for this to help with the total 400 million? Because it's at least 120 days for it all to get there. Hence, we won't see any immediate effect on lowering prices, or we wouldn't expect that, would we?
Well, it's certainly an offset. And again, it's not just the United States that's releasing. You know, it's 30 nations around the world. There's no shortage or even really tight oil market in the Western Hemisphere. The issue's in Asia. That's where the oil from the Persian Gulf flows. Japan is releasing 3 times more than their pro rata share, just addressing where is the struggle is in refineries in Asia. We're just getting oil into those refineries as quick as possible. We're going through a short-term disruption, but it's overdue to address this Iranian threat that's festered and grown for 47 years.
Iran is able to get its own ships through. So at least at this point, it's not optimal the way things are happening. We're having some trouble. We keep hearing, and I think you've said that Iran's ability to threaten shipping is already declining. Can you update us on where we are and how long we're talking about, before we see any progress at all in opening things up?
Well, with President Trump's leadership here, the military is going at full speed. You know, this is an operation that'll take weeks, not months. Every day, enormous progress is made. We're destroying their ability to threaten the United States troops in the region, to threaten their neighbors, and ultimately to threaten energy markets. They were going the opposite direction, right? Massively expanding their missile program, pushing ahead with a nuclear program. If this can had been kicked down the road one more administration, we would end with an Iran that would be ensconced forever with nuclear weapons in that region. Simply unacceptable. So President Trump has been working to, through negotiations, through every effort possible to deliver the right result here. But ultimately, the only option on the table, and I believe firmly it is the right option, is to destroy their military ability to threaten their neighbors and the Straits. But it's a weeks-long operation. It's not days. It's not months.
I think people would love to see the Navy being able to escort a tanker through the Strait. And earlier this week, from an ex-post, it looked like that was happening. It wasn't happening. I guess the White House later said that it was incorrect. Why isn't it happening? Can it happen now? Will it happen soon that the Navy can do that?
It'll happen relatively soon, but it can't happen now. We're simply not ready. All of our military assets right now are focused on destroying Iran's offensive capabilities and the manufacturing industry that supplies their offensive capabilities. We don't want this to be a brush off for a year or two. We want to permanently destroy their ability to build missiles, to build drones, to have a nuclear program. It is amazing. They have invested all of the wealth of their country, deprived the rights of all of their people, simply to build a war machine. And we are systematically, day by day, destroying that war machine.
Secretary Wright, when you say weeks, not months, for the incursion, the war, whatever you might want to call this, the question that the markets are focused on, does that mean days or weeks before you might be able to start escorting some of those tankers through the strait? When we talked to an oil expert earlier this morning, she suggested that if this carries on for the next couple of weeks through the end of the month, that you could be looking at oil prices above $150. And it's not just oil that there are concerns about. There is helium, tanks of helium trying to get through, because that's critical to making sure we can continue to manufacture semiconductors. There's nothing that can be substituted for the cooling properties of helium with that. Do you think by the end of this month, the U.S. Navy will be escorting some of those ships through the strait?
I think that, yes, I think that is quite likely the case. But again, I mean, I'll be over at the Pentagon later today, but that is what the military is working on. And yes, a lot of critical materials come out of the Straits of Hormuz. Look, we have a large global economy. Fortunately, with President Trump's policies, the United States is a net exporter of oil. We're a net exporter of natural gas. And in fact, we're growing our net exports of natural gas this spring, this summer. You'll see massively more capacity online by the end of this year. Natural gas is another product. So we've done the right things in the U.S. to make the Western Hemisphere a much better place and to supply the world. But it is short-term pain for the long-term gain. But it's simply a must-achieve thing. Otherwise, you've got decades into the future of an Iran that can hold the world hostage whenever it wants. Yes, there is disruption right now to do this. And if the election had gone another way, we probably would, our kids would be living with Iran, to the end of their lives. That's not acceptable outcome.
Mr. Secretary, I don't think I've seen you or had you on since the endangerment law was, or it was at least repealed. Hard to believe in 2009, even that it passed muster, that you could call something as ubiquitous as CO2, plant foods, we all exhale CO2, that you could call that, it endangers the public health. So it seemed flawed right from the beginning to me, but it's called one of the biggest rollbacks of over-regulation that we've ever had, but it's not done yet, is it? States are challenging it. Do you think that the science at this point validates that decision to repeal that endangerment finding? Are we slowly coming to the other side of the whole climate hysteria that we've been through?
I sure hope so. And I absolutely do believe so, Joe. This was another one of those things that just, it got stuck into the regulatory regime. It unfortunately got upheld by a very unfortunate Supreme Court decision. This will run back through the courts again. But the data, the facts were never there to support this decision. And this is a regulatory creep that just crushed our ability to build new power plants in this country, to get rid of people's lawnmowers and tell them which water heater they can use and what outdoor refrigerator was virtuous enough for them. Just a massive government overcreak. Another one of those things people assume was stuck. President Trump is bold. He's full of common sense. He's like, no, let's address that endangerment finding. We're not going to leave that to future generations. He doesn't want to leave the Iran growing threat and a nuclear-armed Iran to future generations as well. So, yes, it takes courageous leadership to go through the few weeks we're in right now to get it done. But it's the right thing for America. It's the right thing for the world.